In the last 4 years, I've worked with over 60 commerce brands and generated well over $35 million in email revenue. And during that time, I've tried every single flow and email automation you can imagine. After strategizing, building, and launching hundreds of email flows, I found the 5 must-have automations that every commerce brand needs to maximize revenue and generate more sales on autopilot. In this video, I'll show you how to set them up, what filters to use to avoid flows overlap and bad customer experience, and what emails you should have in each of these flows. But first, let me explain why you need them in the first place and how they can help you profitably scale your e-commerce brand. Because here's the harsh truth: scaling an e-commerce brand is not getting any easier. Competition is getting bigger and bigger every single day, and as a result of that, ad costs and CPMs are constantly rising every single day. That means it's more expensive for you to acquire a new customer and to advertise in general. And also, with the competition constantly increasing, customers have more choice than ever and they're just becoming way more picky. Conversion cycles as a result of that get longer as customers need more information and education before making the purchase. Plus, also with AI, it's very easy for your competitor to steal and copy your ads and landing pages. And I mean, if you launched a new ad and it's performing well, it's been performing well for 1, 2, 3 weeks, your competitor will go to any of the ad spy tools, even to the ad library, see which ad is doing the best, copy, paste it with AI, create 10 different versions of it within 1 or 2 days, and then just pretty much run with that while you invented the ad, but it doesn't really matter. Now, how flows can really help you with all of this? So first of all, they can lower your customer acquisition costs. And I know that whenever you hear email marketing, you probably think of retention, repeat orders and whatnot, but in reality, emails can help you just decrease customer acquisition cost by quite a lot, especially if you have all of your pre-purchase flows set up right. Then it can also improve your site-wide conversion rate and just make more money from your existing traffic. It can also help you maximize profit per customer and LTV by increasing your retention rate and repeat orders. And that makes scaling so much easier because you're making more profit from every single customer you already paid to acquire. So this is why it's so powerful. And then lastly, you can also educate customers about your brand and make the entire customer journey pretty much better, because your subscribers will be going through the exact path that you designed. They'll be getting the right emails at the right time, exactly how you wanted them to. So now that brings me to our first flow, which is going to be your welcome flow. This is hands down the most important flow out of any automations, and if you combine the pop-up and then the welcome flow, it alone can drive up to 10% of your store's revenue, or you can see an uplift of 10% extra revenue if you set it up the right way. So as for the trigger, it's going to be added to the list. As for the filters, it's going to be bounced email 0 times overall time, because we just don't want anyone to that bounce to receive any of our emails. Then placed order 0 times since starting the flow. Checkout started 0 times in the last 1 hour. Now, the reason behind checkout started 0 times in the last hour is mainly because a lot of brands have their checkout subscribers list plugged into the welcome flow, and people are getting the exact same welcome flow as someone who joined through the pop-up. This is a very big mistake, because if someone is at the checkout level and they received your welcome email with an incentive, but they didn't have any discount code applied at the checkout, then you're losing margin and pretty much just giving away free money. So here's the structure of this flow. Now, just a very quick thing, if you want to get this full guide with the whole structure for all of the core flows, email examples, as well as the video walkthroughs on how to set up every single flow, there's going to be a link below this video. It's entirely free. Just go ahead, click the link and download this full guide for completely free. But now let's go back to the video. So email number 1 is going to be all about giving the incentive. If you promised 10% off on your pop-up, you want to deliver the promise and give them this discount. Otherwise, they'll be kind of fed up, they'll be confused, and as a result, they won't complete the purchase. Then you want to wait between 6 to 24 hours before sending the next email. And the next email, email number 2, is going to be story from the founder. I love this email, and I also love making it plain text email. It's great for building a relationship, as well as just kind of getting your message and values and mission through the kind of email that everyone wants to read, and it's pretty engaging. Then you want to wait another 6 to 24 hours and then set email number 3, which is going to be about clearing objections and showing guarantees. So overall, people always will have some kind of objections, and showing guarantees is probably the best way to convert them and take someone from being stranger on the fence to actually converted subscriber. Then email number 4, before sending that, you want to wait between 12 to 24 hours, but email number 4 is going to be all about USPs, your unique value propositions, us versus them. You really want to explain why someone should choose you over a competitor and why you're the best solution out there. Then you want to wait another 12 to 24 hours, and then you want to send a social proof email. So it can be either, multiple stacked reviews, it can be a testimonial, it can be one very long success story. It's really up to you. I really recommend you test these formats, but ultimately you want to stack this email with social proof so that, it pretty much builds more trust across customers. And then last but not least, we have email number 6, which is going to be incentive last call. Now, I like making this email plain text as well, just because the format works exceptionally well with, whenever you send a reminder, the last call. So this is why I think that this format works so well for the welcome email last call as well. Now, onto some of the email examples. You can see they're a bit different in all different niches. They are design-wise a bit different as well, but ultimately they get the job done. First one, it has literally like 3 sentences across the whole email with the header, subheader, and code plus call to action above the fold. Same goes for this one, same goes for this one. This one has button a little bit below, below the image, but it was A/B tested, so no worries about that. But then again, different examples. This one super short, barely any copy. This one a bit more copy, like 2-3 paragraphs, which is completely fine. This one only really header and then USPs with icons and bullet points, which is again getting the visuals very easily. It's super readable. For graphics like this one work exceptionally well. And then, pick your discipline or shop by discipline, which also works super well. And it's kind of like a different way to show these collection links in visual format as well. Now, once again, if you want to see how to actually do it on the backend side, in Klaviyo, with all of the filters, triggers, download this guide. Is going to be entirely free, so just make sure to do it and set up your flows right. Now onto the next flow, or actually flows, because they're going to be abandoned cart and checkout. Now I put them as equal, quote unquote, on purpose, because technically it's the one flow. The main thing that you want to do differently is have a different trigger for your abandoned cart flow. But the most important thing that should be getting out of this, part of the video, is to make sure that you have both of these flows set up. Like, I've had so many cases where brands would tell me like, yeah, we have our abandoned cart flow ready, but in reality, it was only abandoned checkout flow. Right now, Shopify last year rolled out their new added to cart metric, so it's pretty much in every single Klaviyo account. But even though they did it recently, I've still seen a lot of brands that haven't done it at all. So they're only running with abandoned checkout flow, which once again, it's a very big mistake that can cost you lots of money that you're pretty much leaving on the table. So the trigger for both of the flows, or the filter for both of the flows is going to be the same, has not been in this flow in the last 5 days, and also placed order 0 times since starting this flow. For abandoned cart flow specifically, you want to have one more filter, being checkout started 0 times since starting this flow. Here's the structure, which again is super simple. Both of these flows can have the exact same emails. The only difference would be the trigger. The only difference would be the one filter you would add to the abandoned cart flow and the links you would use, because in the abandoned checkout flow, it's very easy for you to use dynamic links, which are rebuilding someone's checkout, with all of the information they entered, all of the items they had in the cart. But for the abandoned cart flow, you can't really do that because they haven't gone to the checkout step yet. So you'll just link to your dynamic cart page, which usually for most Shopify stores is going to be domain.com/cart. As for the emails or structure itself, you want to wait between 30 minutes to 2 hours before you send the first email. Like, the earliest you want to send it is going to be 15-20 minutes after someone started the checkout or added the product to cart. Email number 1 should be a super short and simple cart reminder. You don't want to stuff this email too much with content. Just make it short, to the point, show them what they left, and make it easy for them to come back. Then you want to wait between 6 to 24 hours and send email number 2, which should be about guarantees and risk reversal. I already kind of covered that, but every single time you are solving, people make a purchase, they have some kind of risks. What you want to do is you want to solve it, and usually you do it by showing them guarantees. Then you want to wait between 6 to 24 hours once again, and send email number 3, which is where you introduce the discount. I know a lot of brands introduce the discount in the first email. In my opinion, it's not ideal because you don't need to give away margin instantly. Sometimes people actually forget to make the whole purchase to finish it. So what you want to do is delay the discount up until email number 3, and then also talk about your USPs and solve some of the objections. You really want to talk about your USPs in pretty much all of these pre-purchase flows, mainly because you want to position your product the right way. And you can really flip it in multiple ways. Let's say you're selling, you're the most expensive solution on the market. What you can do is you can be like, hey, we are the most expensive solution out there, but we are proud of that because we use quality materials. We are, whatever, tested and approved by whoever. And you can kind of flip the script, being like, hey, we actually are expensive, but when was the last time that I actually have gone for the cheapest option, and then you ended up regretting it and still paying more, or twice, thrice, or whatever, but essentially paying more than if you just went for the most expensive option. But on the other hand, if you're the cheapest solution out there, you can once again flip the script and be like, hey, we are the cheapest, but it's not because we are sacrificing our product quality or anything like that. There's nothing sketchy. It's just actually these bigger companies that are having more expensive products, they're ripping you off. Their main thing is squeezing out as much, as much profit from you as possible. And in reality, they just are having higher pricing because they want their product to be perceived as higher quality, where in reality, everything they do is poor quality. The product breaks, it's just expensive for no reason. So this is why you should go with us, because we are cheaper, better quality, and we actually care, and we're not creating some false perceived value. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to flip the script based on what kind of solution, or and like also where you're in the market. So make sure you do it accordingly, and again, you will convert a lot of more people. Now, email number 4 is going to be where you again put in the social proof, reviews, and code reminder. You just want to show people that your product is legit and they can trust it and it works. Then email number 5 is going to be incentive last call. So if someone still hasn't made a purchase, this should be the last chance for them to do it. You can add a bit more urgency and just make sure that they convert right away. As for the emails examples, kind of have chosen them on purpose because all of these are from a one product store, which I think is going to be quite interesting, because a very, very good thing we've done here, humble brag, but the very good thing we've done here is not using the dynamic section from Klaviyo, which it's okay, but it's still the basic section with plain color background and then just text and then product name or product photo. What we did here is we designed it in our software, which is like Figma or Adobe XD. Doesn't really matter what you use, can be Canva as well. But ultimately what we did is we designed this section so we are still showing the product someone left, because it's a one product store, so they pretty much left only this one product, but we're also getting some of the benefits and features and USPs across within this image. So instead of seeing the product in itself, people are seeing the product plus benefits. Reclaim your glow, sleep deeper, calm within an hour, crush cortisol. I mean, it's pretty good because again, it's an infographic, so it doesn't have a lot of copy, but it's super readable, digestible, and people can see it. So that's like the most important thing. Same goes for this one on the right hand side. Instantly soothes discomfort, gently cleanses eyelids, hydrates and shields, doctor recommended. Every single thing that person probably would care about is getting, is pretty much getting across in this email. Then for this one, it's a simple 30 days to love it or your money back. So we're just talking about our money back guarantee, again removing as much risk from people as possible, plus also adding a bit of an urgency. But again, these emails work quite well. Now just a quick, interruption. If you're running an e-com brand and you want to drive between 30 to 40% of your total revenue from email marketing fully done for you, then me and my team can probably help you. If you're running a brand doing at least 50K per month in revenue, you can book a free call with me using the link below this video in the video description. You'll get a free audit plus an action plan on how you can scale your brand. If you are a good fit, if I can see that we can help you scale and, just pretty much get to the next level, I'll show you how, I'll show you what it would look like for us to fully handle your email marketing for you. But if not, you will at least walk away with a free audit and a simple action plan. Recently, I audited a brand and saved them over 9K per month in wasted SMS credit. So again, it's going to be super beneficial to you. Make sure you book a call, is entirely free. And now back to the video. So the third flow is going to be browsable element. This one is going to be triggered when someone triggers viewed product metric, which is when someone goes to your product page. As for the filters, we just want to remove anyone who has added to cart since starting this flow, started the checkout since starting the flow, placed order since starting the flow. So This flow goes to anyone who has been on the product page but hasn't gone further. Okay, if someone has gone to the product page and added to cart, we're excluding them. They should be getting abandoned cart flow. This is super important because again, you want to have the best customer journey possible. So this is why these filters are so important. One more filter you want to add is that someone has not been in this flow in the last 30 days, because if people are browsing multiple products and they will be entering this flow for every single product they are browsing, they will be getting quite a lot of emails. So this is why you want to have this filter, to prevent people from re-entering multiple times and once again just kind of spamming them with these emails. As for the time delays, they are quite similar to the abandoned cart checkout. 2 hours or 30 minutes before the first email, then 12 hours to 1 day, 1 day, 1 day, and 1 day. You can also A/B test 12 hours versus 1 day. This one is a bit slower in terms of time delays, mainly because customer buying intent is not as high as for the abandoned checkout flow or even welcome flow. As for email number 1, it should be quite similar to the abandoned cart flow, so super short browse reminder, really just show people the product they've been browsing or the products. Second email should be talking about bestsellers, so if someone still hasn't made a purchase, chances are they don't know what to choose or they're just not sure. So what you want to do is show them your best sellers and be like, hey, these are best sellers for a reason. If you don't know where to start or if you don't know what to choose, go with one of these. You won't regret and you can't go wrong. Email number 3, this is where you once again introduce the incentive and show a bit of a social proof, reviews, testimonials, customer success stories, and so on and so on. Email number 4 should be about your USPs and guarantees, which already covered before. And then incentive last call, once again, plain text email, just kind of being like, hey, your incentive is about to expire. Make sure to use it right now. And some of the examples, you can clearly see all of them following the same structure: header, subheader, call to action. Some of them have, already discount code because it just wasn't email number 1, but email number 3 or 4. And yeah, you can see what they look like. Usually not that much copy. You can have a bit of a copy, but also if you have reviews, you kind of have to include the copy, so it makes sense. But ultimately try to make them as digestible as possible and as readable as possible. Again, if you want to see what these emails look like, just go ahead, pause the video or get the free doc. It's again entirely free, so you can also get it and see the examples for all of these flows. Now flow number 4 is going to be post-purchase. So in reality it's going to be 2 separate flows, but it's mainly because again we just want to improve the customer journey and customer experience. So both of these post-purchase flows, each of them will have a different trigger. First one will be triggered upon placed order metric. So this is when someone just places an order, they are going to be getting almost instant customer thank you email. So you don't want to send it instantly, but wait 5 to 10 minutes after they make a purchase, because they'll be getting a ton of Shopify emails. So you don't want to stack your email along with these other ones. Then you want to wait 1 hour. You can also wait 1 day, but usually 1 hour will get you better results. And then you want to send bounce back / immediate upsell cross-sell email. This one absolutely crushes it. Again, I would also go with the plain text format for this one because it works super well. Now with this one, you need to be very careful with your messaging, because usually what we do is hey, before we start processing your order, we just wanted to know if there is anything else you want to add. You don't want to say before we ship your order, because if you say this, you'll get a ton of complaints and questions from people asking hey, when do you ship it? You said you will ship it, and so on. So be super specific and say before we start processing your order, we just wanted to ask. Okay, so that's a side note, but again, quite important. Then you want to wait 1 to 2 days and send this email ideally to new customers or first-time customers, and just remove the buyer's remorse plus build trust. Usually it can be an email from a founder being hey, I'm glad you bought our supplement. It has changed my life, so I hope it's going to change, or I'm sure it's going to change yours as well. You get the point, just so people don't regret making the purchase. They don't start thinking in categories of, do I need it? Maybe I'm going to refund it. No need to do it. Just remove their buyer's remorse and you will be good to go. And then this is the continued flow, right? But we're pretty much just changing the trigger. So we're changing it from placed order to order for fulfilled. Then you want to wait between 1 to 3 days and send instructions on how to use the product. This is very important, because if people use the product, they actually get the result that you promised, they'll just come back. Even if you don't have any win-back emails, win-back campaigns whatsoever, they'll just come back because the product worked and it solved their problem. Then you want to wait between 1 to 3 days and then send one of the 2 emails. So either follow us on social media, or if you have a blog article that is actually relevant to the product, you want to go ahead and send this one as well. Then you want to wait between 5 to 10 days and send either upsell cross-sell email, or if you have a referral program and it's quite important for your brand, you can go ahead and send it too. I'm saying specifically if it's relevant, because we have some clients where we have run a survey and 10 to 15% of all of their customers are coming as a referral from a friend through the program and so on. So this is why it's super important. Again, get those incentives in front of people. Be like, hey, if you refer us, you will get XYZ and it's going to be worth it for them. And you'll also be making super profitable sales because you're not spending anything to acquire these customers because they are referred. Then you want to wait between 7 to 14 days and send your first NPS score email. So what you want to do is you want to be like, hey, thanks for your order. We just want to make sure that we get your experience right. Rate us between 1 to 10. The important thing is that they're going to be rating you within the email, so they're not going to be rating you on Trustpilot page or anywhere else. It's going to be rated only within the email, so it won't impact any of your score outside of your NPS score in Klaviyo. But then what you want to do is you want to have a split. So people who rated you 8, 9 or 10 should be getting review request email. Those who rated you 1 through 7 should be getting feedback for email. So even if someone is dissatisfied, in my opinion, you still want to give them some kind of love and show them like, hey, we care about you, you're being heard and whatnot. And usually the best way to do it is make them fill out a feedback form, which again, a lot of them, if they're not satisfied, instead of going to the Google page or Trustpilot page and leaving a 1-star review, they will fill out this form, they will get everything, all of the hate out, and you won't be getting 1-star reviews. They will feel that actually, you care about them. So it's a win-win. As for the email examples, the first one on the left-hand side, some extra tips, again, just being purely valuable, making sure they know how to use the product. The middle email, same thing. Here we're showing how to use the product, how to put it together and make sure they're using it the right way. And then the third email, just promoting the app that is kind of, super important and connected to the product they initially bought, because this was electronics. Now, last but not least is going to be customer win-back flow, which honestly is amazing just for driving more profit per customer, more repeat orders, and increasing your retention rate in general. The trigger for this flow is going to be placed order, and then filter should be placed order 0 times since starting this flow. Now, ideally, you want to wait between 45 to 90 days before sending the first email, but then again, all of that needs some extra context. Because if you have, let's say, a supplement and you're selling 4-month supply as your main front-end offer, doesn't make sense to send win-back email after 45 days because they still have 2.5 months of supply left. So you want to obviously adjust your timing, but for most people, for most brands, 45 to 90 days is going to be sweet spot, like more than enough. I am honestly even a bigger fan of doing 45 days because we really want to shorten the repeat order cycle as much as possible, so you get better cash flow and more profit pretty much generated faster. For the content for this flow, email number 1 should be something along the lines of like, hey, it's been a while, plus you want to show them new arrivals. This is usually the best thing you can do, because if they bought, I don't want to say like an old product, but if they bought something from you and then it turns out you have a new product, whether it's a new version, new color, or really just a completely new product line, then you still want to do it because novelty always sells. Then you want to wait between 5 to 15 days and send email number 2, which is again just going to be you featuring your best sellers. They're loved for a reason. And then you still want to be talking about us versus others, mainly because if someone has a problem and your product solved it, they might start looking for alternative solutions, your competitors, and so on. So we really want to make sure that people know we are the only and the right choice to solve this specific problem. Then you want to wait between 5 to 15 days and you will send an incentive last call. So optionally in email number 2, you can include an incentive. I would recommend doing it for sure, because if someone didn't buy, there might be multiple reasons, but giving them away an incentive or a discount is a great way to change it, especially that you don't have any acquisition costs. So even if you give up your margin a little bit, it's going to be fine. And usually this discount is either the same or lower than in the one in the welcome flow. So again, it's not terrible from the profit standpoint. And email number 3 should be about incentive last call, or you can also use subscription upsell if you have subscriptions active in your store. Now here are some of the email examples, pretty simple, honestly, just don't overcomplicate it, and that's true for all of the email flows. First one, hey, look what's new, dynamic section with the new arrivals, and also discount right away, because this brand was like, okay, we can do it, so we are giving it away from the first email. Then cross-selling some of the accessories, again, just a few sentences intro, and then multiple sections that people can shop pretty much. One more email being like, hey, we're still thinking about you, and giving away a discount incentive. And yeah, it's simple as that. Again, don't overcomplicate your emails. Usually the simpler the better. Now let's talk about some general principles, and I'm also going to show you what makes bad email flow, what makes good email flow, and how to use advanced optimization to make your flows perform even better and just make more money from them, because there is the right way to optimize them. But first, let's start with what makes bad email flow. First of all, dozens of different setups. You don't need anything more than the core 8 to 10 flows, some cases maybe 12, but anything more than that is not really useful. You can have 15, 20, 30 flows, but in reality, they won't be driving any significant uplift in the revenue. Wrong filters and triggers, this one's actually quite big. I've seen many cases, especially with the customer winback flow or some of the abandonment flows, where brands would either have smart sending turned on, or they would just have wrong filters at the flow level, and for example, winback flow would not be sending out for over a year, where the brand thought it was live for, once again, more than a year, and that would cost them tens of thousands of dollars in missed revenue just because one filter or two filters were wrong. Then focusing on the quantity, so once again, you don't need a lot of flows, you don't need a lot of emails in the flows, you need to have all of the core flows with all core emails, and that's more than enough to get you to 7-8 figures per year. And again, I know this because I've seen it, I've helped those brands get this level, so this is how it works. Then micro segmenting, again, there is nothing wrong with segmentation in the flows, and I'm also going to show you how to do it the right way, but some brands kinda go crazy over this. They want to micro segment every single smaller thing, and then they end up having 10 recipients every 30 days, and that leads to getting 120 recipients in a single year, which makes it absolutely impossible to get any kind of conclusion, any kind of improvement, or run any kind of A/B test. Then what makes good email automation, on the other hand, is personalization through content. So we want to personalize your emails through content, show relevant messaging, copy, description, also product images, offers, all of this stuff matters, and it's going to do way more than some basic, first name personalization. Then behavior-based triggers. So again, don't try to come up with some new revolutionary way of triggering your flows, some kind of setup that was never done before. Usually you want to keep in mind users' activity, and these behavior-based triggers help you do it. Because if someone, it's a simple example, but if someone was on the product page and they didn't add to cart, they should be getting browse abandonment flow, but the moment they add the product to cart, they should be being added to the abandoned cart flow. It's a small and simple thing, but it really helps you maximize the results, and again, personalize your content even further. Then quality over quantity. So once again, you don't need a lot of flows, you don't need tens of emails in each flow, you need to have core flows with 5 to 6 emails, let's say in the welcome flow, being very, very high quality emails, and then you can take it from there and try adding more emails. But in reality, whenever I was auditing an account that had more than 10 or 15 emails in the welcome flow, still really 3 to 4 to 5 emails maybe would make up the majority of the revenue for this flow, and the rest were kind of just fillers that didn't accomplish anything. They tried to sell but didn't. They also were educating people, so they were kind of just a wasted time and space. Now let's talk about advanced optimizations. The first thing you want to do is, like I said before, personalization through content. So you want to do product specific flows. Your welcome flow, browse abandonment, cart abandonment, abandoned checkout, all of these can be personalized based on the product someone was interested in. And this is a really good way because, again, I would recommend, obviously you have hundreds of SKUs, it will take you some time, but you can start with 1, 2, maybe 3 bestsellers and create flows specifically for these products, different messaging, different images, offers. Like I showed you in the abandoned cart / checkout flow example, you can have the product image with USPs and benefits, which again looks better and is kind of like an infographic, maybe even an ad creative. Then you want to do a split for buyers and non-buyers, mainly because of the different messaging, different offers and different approach. There's always going to be a different reason for someone to abandon the checkout when they bought from you 2 or 3 times, than for someone who never bought from you and doesn't really know you. Time delay between emails, like I said before, very important to A/B test it and just run with what's performing better. Short versus long copy, plain text versus design heavy emails, different formats, just go ahead and test them because every single brand is different. I've seen brands crushing it with long design based emails, but I've also seen brands crushing it with short plain text emails only across pretty much all of their flows. So it really depends on your brand, how your customers behave, what they respond better to. So just go ahead and A/B test these things. And then lastly, order of the emails. So if you want to get a bit more nuanced, you can, for example, test sending reviews as your welcome email number 2 instead of the founder email, right? You can kind of play with that and change the order of the emails and just see how that would help you get more conversions. But other than that, if you want to get free access to this guide, as well as my free e-commerce email marketing masterclass with over 178 pages of content, you can download it for free. Again, there's going to be a link below this video. You can get all of that entirely free, so go ahead and do it. But on the other hand, if you're on an e-com brand doing over 50K per month in revenue and you want to get to the next level, you want to scale to 7 figures per year, 8 figures per year, and you want someone to fully handle your email marketing, then I'll be happy to do it. I'll be happy to hop on a call with you, audit your current strategy, audit your current Klaviyo account, give you the audit and give you the strategies that you can implement right away. And the worst case scenario, you walk away with free strategy and action plan. Best case scenario, you have someone trusted who's done this for multiple brands and can also fully handle your email marketing. So you don't have to do anything. You don't need to spend even a minute creating your emails, preparing the strategy and analyzing the data. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you soon. Take care.